Hey guys, and welcome back to How to Crucible. The return of How to Crucible. It's back, and we're starting off with a banger. Today we are actually going over a bow for the first time. We've never done a bow before. We've literally never done a bow because we couldn't do a bow because back when I did it, we didn't have bows. So here we go. We are going to be doing today the Arsenic Bite-4B. So now, if you haven't watched the How to Crucible return video, that Destiny 2 return video from previously, you might want to watch that just to get caught up on some of the things that we're doing for How to Crucible. I talked about a little bit of changes that we're going to be doing and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and reiterate it within this video first. But because perks are going to be random now, perks, the last two usually are going to be, it's basically all random now. We're not really getting the same thing every single time. It's going to pertain off to the one that I have. So right now we have Arsenic Bite-4B. It is a combat bow. That's what its weapon type is, apparently. And so for some of the perks that we actually have, if I can get over there here. We have Agile Bowstring, durable yet light, just greatly increases handling speed, slightly increases stability. That's the one I ended up using. Straight Fletching, it's modern fletching for straight pass, increases accuracy. Obviously, you're going to need accuracy with bows. They're kind of crazy. We have Quick Draw, and we had draw time decreases after every precision hit. So it was actually a really fast combat bow. Like I was running around doing some quick John Wick stuff with a bow and rather than a pistol, it was kind of crazy. We have the Masterwork 10 of accuracy, just because I was like, whoa, I need that. And so if you see the kills, and it says Crucible opponents defeated, which is 223, it's actually less because I didn't get it until like halfway through, or not halfway through, but a little ways through. And then I just have the overloaded arrowheads. Those really never came into play because I think you need to hold them a little bit longer. I usually wasn't holding it at that long, so I don't think it really works against Guardians. So that is my Arsenic Bite-4B. So let's go ahead and talk about the overall feelings of this weapon. So my overall feelings were, it was good. It was fun. It was a really fun time. It really didn't seem like 20 matches. It kind of went by pretty quickly. I had some good times. I had some bad times. I had some great games. I had some bad games. It was kind of just, it was one of those middle ground weapons. It wasn't necessarily a weapon that is crazy good. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. So let's go ahead and talk about the usage strategy now. So now that we have the overall feelings, we're going to talk about the usage strategy. How should you use this in the Crucible? Well, you should use this at range as well as just anchoring, peeking corners, doing this and that. You don't want to be pushing with this weapon. There is just no win. Submachine gun will destroy you, and if you are too far away, you'll get sniped and the snipers just destroy you. So it is fairly a middle ground weapon that you are just holding angles, re-peeking, constantly re-peeking. You fire a bow, go back, reload, come back out the corner and hit your next shot. It really depends on your accuracy. You need to be accurate with the bow to hit shots and to actually defeat Guardians. It's going to be a really tough time for you if you can't. So let's go ahead and talk about the numbers for our PvE. PvE, oh yes, we're talking about PvE. So I do a little bit of Gambit just to kind of see what the baseline is for this weapon in terms of getting some kills in the Gambit as well as the prime percentage that we're able to do. So we played 5 matches, obviously. And the average kills that I had were 44.5, as well as the prime percentage was 16.25%. So it's not terrible. You're not really pulling your quarter weight, which is 25%, which is what I'd like to see in there. But also, I was invading. I was getting some kills that way. I forgot to actually write those kills down. But oops. We'll get it for the next weapon. But yeah, I had some decent kills. It was all right, and it was all right there. It really wasn't that great in terms of blockers or tough enemies. Those were really difficult. All the other players were having to help me do those. It just doesn't have the DPS. It just doesn't have the DPS for PvE at all. I don't think it has. I don't think it does. So PvE, yeah, not really. I don't really like it. I didn't think it was that great. I think if you're gonna go PvE, you definitely want like a scout rifle, an auto rifle, or a pulse rifle, or maybe a really high DPS sidearm, something. I just don't think it's going to be something that you're going to be using over other weapons in the PvE realm, at least. So now let's go talk about the PvP zone. Let's go. So let's go ahead and talk about my PvP areas. So we're going to do kills, defeats, and feelings about that. So the total kills that I had, or I guess let's do the average first. So the average kills that I had, the average defeats that I did end up having was about 15.25, which isn't great. The total I had was 305. And I think I have highlighted here the best game that I had, and that was later. I didn't actually get it recorded, sadly. It was a 25 with a 2.27 KD, so it was 25 and 11. So that was kind of nuts. That was a nutty game. I was hitting every shot. I was just cracked out of my mind. It was nuts. It was a really, really fun game to be part of. And so that game, was my best. But 15.25 was the average, and the total was 305. For deaths, I did end up with an average of 9.5. So about 15.25 and a 9.5. That's kind of your average there. And so the average KD I was rocking was 1.7. That was basically what we were doing, as well as the total deaths was about 191. So 191 was my deaths. So let's go ahead and talk about our ranking. Or wait, no. Oh gosh, I forgot. Feelings. Again, I have another feeling section. We're just going to skip that. We're going to go to How to Crucible. All right, so let's do the HTC rank. Let's see what we got here. So for range, we're going to have 2 scores, short range, long range. So let's go talk about long range first. So long range, it's a pretty decent weapon. Pretty great. I really loved shooting it from long range. It was good. It hit your shots. It was pretty accurate from pretty far ways away. It would do quite a bit of damage from pretty far ways away, but the problem was it was outclassed by every single sniper rifle and scout rifle and pulse rifle. I just could not fight them. If they were bursting me and they were hitting their shots, I had no chance. I would shoot the one shot, get basically one shot, go out for the repeat and get killed again. So it was just a really rough time. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a 6 for long range. Going into short range, though, there were times where I would just, pull it back really quick and hit the shot, and then the guy was dead. But most of the time, he had to be injured in that process. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5, just because it was a really middle ground. It was a 50% chance if I was getting a win at close quarter combat there. So moving on to recoil, you're going to see a little clip of me doing it. Well, a bow really doesn't have recoil. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So it's going to get a 10. Heck yeah. Wow. Great job. Great job, Arsenic Bite. A 10. Our first 10 in the category here. So for recoil, it's a 10 because it has none. It shoots where it shoots. And if you miss your shot, that's solely on you. So we got a 10 there. Let's move on to solo defeats. Now, solo defeats and team defeats, these are the next 2 categories. Solo defeats, how well was I winning battles by myself? If I was doing a 1v1 situation around a corner, no teammates were helping me, there was no combined fire, it was just me and him. In that situation, I'm going to give it a 5. Again, it was a 50-50. It really just depended on if I hit my shots and he missed and they missed their shots. It really just depended solely on the fact that I was hitting mine and they were missing theirs. That's literally all it was. So I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 for that area here, just because it was a little. It really was a toss-up. It was a coin flip, 100%. So for our team kills, actually, for the team, we're gonna give it an 8. It was a really good team bomber. I mean, that first shot, if I hit my first shot, it was a chunk of damage. And if a teammate was around to finish that kill, it was literally one burst from a pulse rifle and maybe one shot from a scout rifle and a couple shots from an auto rifle. It was good in that terms. I was getting assists. Most of my kills and assists were assists. I would say it's assists and kills at this point because it was literally mostly assists. Because I was getting a big chunk of damage off of one guy and he would get destroyed. And if I was hitting, someone that was wounded already, it was an instant. Like, it was just a one-shotter, and that was really nice too. But for team, most of my kills came off of playing with my team. So for the usage strategy, if you go back, you definitely want to play in peak corners, but you also want to play with your team a lot. You definitely want to stick with the team. If you're sticking with a partner that you're playing with all the time, or if you're just sticking with some randoms, just make sure you stay with somebody, because if you're hitting your shots and they're hitting theirs, you guys are going to be stomping this field. All right, moving on to the last section, the last rank here. We have effectiveness. Effectiveness, let's do this. So effectiveness is kills and assists divided by the total engagement. So we add up kills and assists and deaths, and then we multiply it by 10 to get our number out of 10. So for this, we ended up having 305 kills, and we divided that by 496 496 was the amount of deaths and kills, and that came out to be a 6.14. 6.15, sorry. 6.15. So 6.15 is there. I have a lot of decimals on my spreadsheet. I round it all down for the final HTC rank just at the end. So we also actually have one more counter. We have a counter this year. We have a counter. It is a counter on the things that we're doing. It's a negative number, and that's frustration. So let's move into frustration. Frustration for this weapon is based on a 0.5 rank, so it goes up in 0.5 all the way up to -5, or -6. Sorry, it goes all the way up to -6. So it's a 0 or a -6 in terms of the range that it can go, and it goes up in 0.5s. So I'm giving this Arsenic Bite-4B a -1.5 in frustration, just because there was a lot of frustration in terms of losing a lot of battles that I didn't think I should. A lot of battles at long range, you know, I was just outclassed at sniper rifles and all this stuff. It just felt like the bow should be more. That's honestly what I thought. I felt that the bow should have more, I don't know, just something else. It just didn't feel like it was all the way there, but I was having fun with it, so I can't, you know, dock it too much. So if we add all that up together from our rankings and such, from the bottom of your screen, we're going to look at our HTC rank of 38.65. 38.65. Now let's go to the ranking of all the weapons, shall we? Well, since this is the first one in the new class, or the new entirety of everything, and it's the only bow that we've done, it is a number 1 in both its own category in combat bows, or just in bows in general, as well as in the total of How to Crucible, the HTC. Look at that. Look at that. Number 1. Let's go. Number 1 at a 38.65. The max rank that a weapon can obtain is a 60. So this is just a little bit over halfway. So it's not going to probably be sitting at number 1 for very long. Probably the next episode, it's going to be pushed into number 2. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with the bow. I'm definitely down to do some more bows later on, but we got to move on to different weapon types just to spice it up a little bit. So the next weapon that we're going to be doing is Gnawing Hunger. I know you may have audibly sighed from saying from Gnawing Hunger, but we got to do it. Gnawing Hunger is next. I just want to get that gun out of the way because it's too OP to be used later on. I just want to use it now. So thank you, and I will see you in the next How to Crucible video.